Greetings, viewers. Wakanda forever, and welcome to a time-lapse process video by yours truly, Aziz Draws. So, for the first week of Black History Month, I decided, why don't I draw some Black Panther stuff? Some Black Panther fan art. And I did just that. I decided, maybe a quick exercise with the landscape of Wakanda. I'm not gonna lie though, I wasn't really vibing with it, to be honest. I don't know, I guess I was just having a rough day mentally. I was fine physically, but mentally something was off. But that's besides the point. I decided to try and draw the landscape. I'm not really good at landscapes in my honest opinion. So it was gave me a chance to at least try to exercise with it some more. I would like to do some more landscapes in the future. Who knows? I'm not very good at making them quickly yet because I don't have as much practice as I would like. But hopefully that changes after this year. Who knows? Art is something that takes time to improve and get better at. But that's how I want to start the video. Just a quick little warm-up drawing, right? Something to get y'all started off with. But now that that's done with, let's try and step it up a notch. Next day, I decided I'm going to draw Shuri. But not just any regular Shuri, no. Shuri in the Black Panther suit. I've drawn Black Panther a few times already. And so with this Shuri drawing, I was like, you know what? Let me see, go with it. Sadly, Chadwick Boseman did pass away in 2020. One of the many things that happened in 2020 that made me upset. But I was like, maybe this will give me an idea as to what I could draw for this month or for this week specifically, since I'm doing Black Panther. And I was like, there is that potential that we're gonna make Shuri Black Panther in the movies. Do we know that for certain? No, but it was something that I said it was worth thinking about. Something that I could illustrate just to see what that might be, because in the comics they explore that concept of Shuri being the Black Panther in the event that T'Challa is not able to. So that's kind of where this came from, primarily speaking. Shuri looks pretty cool in the Black Panther suit. So I was like, you know what? Let me try it out. She's got that cool little, what is that? It's like kind of like a fur shoulder guard kind of thing, but it's part of her cape. So I thought that was really cool character design. Let's see. But I figured, that was something worth experimenting with. Nothing too crazy with the background. Something pretty simple and flat with the gradient. And that's kind of what I wanted to go for. But I did want to make it look like she was surrounded by nature. And having the sun in the background like that allowed it to be a simpler one like that. Next, we have another female character related to Black Panther. Although you probably are more familiar with her being with the X-Men. That's right, I'm talking about Aurora Monroe, aka Storm. It's pretty cool that the Black Panther ended up marrying Storm in the comics. That was something I didn't know about for a while. I discovered it like some years ago, but I was like, oh, Storm and Black Panther are married. That's cool. And apparently they were like, they've known each other since childhood. So I was like, that's pretty cool. And so yeah, that's kind of that's the reason as to why I brought Storm into this week, because last year in February I decided to draw Storm, and that one's okay, I suppose. So while I was planning out the different characters I wanted to draw this entire year, I was like, you know what, let me try Storm again in February. And this kind of what ended up happening. I did live stream this on twitch.tv/these draws. And so you saw with the thumbnails, people got a chance to choose and vote which one they would like to see. And then I take their input, and then I try to choose a viable composition. You can see here I kind of got carried away with the hair. The hair was like, I just started drawing lines and lines and lines, because it's very therapeutic when I'm drawing hair. Sometimes it's just like, wee, just going about my business, drawing a bunch of lines. So I did get carried away there. Everywhere else, it's just kind of like, nice little patterns and designs, things that I've gotten inspired by from the movie and inspired by, personal experiences and things I've seen in African like fashion and textiles, and some of those things that I remember. I tried to implement into this drawing. Um, you can see here I start speeding up, and the reason why is because I simply spent too much time on the line art and sketching. So I didn't give myself enough time to really explore how to shade and stuff. So I started improvising and thinking about ways that I could still be visually capturing like the vibe of this drawing, the power of storm, while also giving myself enough time to do so. So we ended up with this kind of cool, very like strong red aesthetic. This very strong red, emotional, like oh my goodness, she's about to pop off type feel. And it kind of reminds me of those Greek like designs on pottery. You ever seen like Hercules or God of War? That's what this reminds me of. But yeah. That's my second go at drawing Storm. I think I like this one more, in my humble opinion. And next we have one of my favorite characters from the film, Mbaku, leader of the Jabari tribe. Now, with this drawing, it's another one of those drawings that I had to do pretty quickly. But with Mbaku, I decided, you know what, I want to be a little bit looser with the proportions. Like I wanted to create this kind of imposing figure with Mbaku because he is intimidating. Like if you were to see Mbaku in person, I'm pretty sure you would waver. You'd yield because that dude is big, dude is strong, not the one to mess with. So I kind of did this thing where I took looser proportions. Everything was still in proportion per se, but they're much more cartoonish. Like I gave him like incredibly big hands, for example. Um, and that was to emphasize on like the kind of empowering and like intimidating vibe that he gives off. So I give him like really big hands, and then I give him like these giant shoulders and arms, similar to what Disney does and other companies do when they're developing characters. They like to exaggerate, make caricatures of these characters to emphasize on defining features. And so that's just kind of what I did here. Um, and then after that, I wanted to make reference to his comic book origins when he's man ape, because they allude to it in the film, and I'm sure because it's very hard to translate a guy wearing a giant white gorilla suit into the films. Makes sense as to why they downplayed it just a little bit. But in this drawing, I do try to make reference to it. Who did I draw next? Ah, yes, Dora Milaje. So I'm not going to cap to you. I didn't spend a lot of time on this one either. So I was just like, you know what, this will be a nice little form practice. But in reality, it's going to be just something I do super quick. So I was like, let me just do like a silhouette of them. Um, have pop some red in there, see them in action. I wish I had more time to work on the Dora Milaje because they're pretty cool. They're pretty scary, but I think I'm able to at least provide that sense of um, determination and action. Like they don't care how they look per se, as opposed to what if they can get their job done. So I'm like, they'd probably operate like this. They just start popping off if something goes awry. Uh, but next, I decided everyone's favorite villain, Killmonger, Eric Killmonger, also known as, let me see if I can pronounce this, Njadaka. Yes, there we go. Um, and with this character design, I wanted to mainly lean towards the movie's character design because I've seen his character design in the comics, and it's straight, but the scarring looks cool. So I wanted to try and see if I can recreate that scarring texture for his skin. And it wasn't too difficult. It was just something that was more tedious than anything. So I just had to make sure, I was properly applying the right amount of light for each of those bumps and making sure there's a gradient going on, making sure, it still looks natural. And it still looks like it's part of his skin. I didn't want to shade it and then make it feel like, it was something that was hanging on top of his skin as opposed to being a part of it. So that was the objective there. The composition itself, I only did half of it, and you'll see why. But I wanted to make reference to him as a character, as well as the suit he wears in the movie with the leopard print, and making an allusion to his pet in the comics, his pet cheetah, pet leopard. I think it's a leopard. I always get them mixed up because they have similar textures. I think it's a leopard. Has to be a leopard. It's a leopard. It's a leopard, yeah. Leopard. Anyway, yes, there's Killmonger. And here's the reason why you only see half of Killmonger, because the other half is T'Challa. I felt that it would be a pretty cool composition to have them together like this. And of course, last but not least, I had to do T'Challa. I have to do the main character, and with these drawings, it's safe to assume I'm doing the main character for the last drawing of each of these sets. But I did make an allusion to the astral plane, as they call it. Is it called the astral plane? The astral world, where T'Challa gets the opportunity to visit his past ancestors in the Black Panther lineage. But yeah, it was a reference to when he gets to meet his father after his passing, and it would only make sense, to have him revisit that area. But yeah, that is it for these drawings. Hope you enjoyed them. You'll be seeing more content for Black History Month, and also be sure to check out my Patreon because it'll have content in there. And rest in peace, Chadwick.
Greetings, humans. On behalf of Aziz Draws, I, Model A2Z, would like to thank you for watching this video. If you want to continue supporting Aziz Draws, be sure to follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch.tv, where he will be drawing live on Mondays and Wednesdays. If you want to continue supporting Aziz Draws even further, be sure to go to his Patreon, where you will have access to watermark-free drawings, and potentially even Clip Studio paint files, to have access to the process and layers of each drawing. Until next time, humans, farewell.